We live in a twilight world and there are no friends at dusk. So this is my second attempt at making this video because, as per usual, an Agent Smith appeared and stopped me. So I parked up somewhere and as I was really getting into the video, a traffic warden came banging on the window, asking me if I had a ticket, and then it just completely freaking threw my mind. And then I tried to add on to that video and it just didn't sound right, so I'm going to start again. But this is a common thing with me. Every time I try and record something real quick, on the fly, shit happens. The other day I tried to make a recording and there was a skip in front of me and smoke just started flowing out of this skip. And I had to stop the recording, call the fire brigade and take care of this skip that was about to burst into flames. So it's fucking weird, man. Is the simulation trying to stop me record? It does feel like that sometimes. But anyway, we must soldier on. The trick here is to spend as minimal time as possible on these black cube smart devices we know as tablets, phones, TVs. So here we are. This is going to be my quick 20-minute video of the day. And that's it. No other time spent on it. And apologies as always. Most of you that know me by now know my studio is my car. And it's really fucking hot here in the UK. And even though I'm parked in a sheltered car park, I still have to have my car on with the air conditioning. So apologies if there's a humming in the background. But I'd melt within 5 minutes if I didn't have it on. So yeah, today I want to talk about the black cube and what it represents and what it is, and AI. And of course this picture here, it's not a cube, it's a sphere. And this is from Westworld season 3. So, also to warn you, there's probably going to be some spoilers in here regarding season 3 of Westworld. So go and watch that first before you listen to this, because yeah, I'm going to be going deep into using what happened in Westworld season 3 as a reference point to our current reality, okay? So yeah. For those of you who don't know the symbol of the black cube symbolism is all around us, it's everywhere. And it's very occultic. Not a lot of people know what it actually means. I don't know what it actually means, but I've got a feeling it, kind of has to do with AI and potentially ancient AI. You might have seen it in a fair few different films. I mean, here it is in season 3 of Westworld. It's a sphere. This image here, that's called the Tet, and that's from the film Oblivion with Tom Cruise, a good science fiction film. In this film, it's like an alien kind of AI that just appears over planet Earth, and it's here to suck the resources out of Earth, and it uses a lot of manipulation to do that. Then, of course, there's the black monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. That's a very classic one. From the Arthur C. Clarke book, Space Odyssey. I mean, these are basically alien life forms that are guiding the universe and creating life, and people worship them. I mean, so if we go back to season 3 of Westworld, it's really brilliant how they done it, because I've been thinking this the whole time, that basically the secret unknowns, what some might call the Illuminati or the deep state or the hidden hand, have one of these things. And what it essentially is an AI supercomputer. Now, for those that have gone into the rabbit hole of AI, they will know that it's purely a game of maths. And they reckon, and I can't remember the exact figures off the top of my head, but it's roughly for every 1 day of human existence, the AI has about 40,000 years worth of, existence. So basically, if you would compare an AI to a human, by the time we've rubbed 2 sticks together to make a fire, the AI has already learned how to make the nuclear bomb, jet engines, telecommunications, and so on. It's that quick at learning. Yeah, it's super quick at learning. And this is what they say is the big worry, that it just beats us in that, it beats us when it comes to learning. So the massive misdirect we have here in our current reality is they're trying to make out that they haven't made this yet. Now, I got a feeling this is the first thing they fucking would have made once they discovered how to, make a computer. And of course, I should probably, let me try and use some drawings here. This might help. So yeah. In Westworld, how it's depicted is, it's set in the future, and our friend Dolores, the main character, who is a robot from the Westworld theme park, comes into the human world, and guess what? Bum, bum, bum. We are as controlled and manipulated just as much as the robots are in Westworld. And that's really the brilliance of Westworld, is what it does is it keeps flipping the roles between humans and robots, and how the robots are more like humans and the humans are more like robots, and it's just so many layers. And basically, what's the difference? And it also asks the questions of free will. So in season 3 of Westworld, they have two of them. There's a good one that works quite well called Rehoboam. I probably said that wrong. It's that the name is something to do with a Jewish king. And then there's an evil one, a psychopathic one called Solomon, which is yet again another tie-in to Jewish, well, I don't know whether you want to call it mythology or just the Jewish religion and history and so on. But they've basically, in Westworld, they're starting to use it. They've been using it for a long time. Now, the guy that made this, well, it's actually two brothers that made it. They grew up in the world where there was war, and they're from Paris. And in the story, they were children, and Paris got nuked, and lots of people died. So the guy and his brother that made this didn't want anyone to die anymore, so they made this supercomputer AI to use algorithms and predictions and programming to basically help guide the humans to avoid war. And of course, to do this, it needed the data of all the humans. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, if we compare that to our real lives, every time we go onto our Black Cube smart device, it's measuring our data. And that's why they give us things for free. That's why Twitter is free. That's why all social media is free. It's not really free. It's because it's a tool to measure our behavior, our patterns, what we like, what we dislike. And of course, I believe somewhere underground, probably under the city of London, there is one of these things, either a black cube or a black sphere that is measuring data. Now, in Westworld, of course, it's guiding everyone's lives, but the humans don't know that. This is all kept secret from the humans, okay? It's only the oligarchs and the secret unknowns at the top of society that actually know that this thing is being used. So, for example, you might think you're applying for a job that you really want, when really this supercomputer here has basically set up your internet feed and your applications to basically present that job to you. So you think, wow, I've got free will and I've chose this job and I've got this job, when actually the black cube has set up the path for you to go on this job. Equally, you might get turned down from a job. And you don't know why. You might think, wow, I thought I was great for that job. And basically the black cube has interfered. The black cube has worked out through its mathematics, through its algorithms, through its pattern recognition that you shouldn't be doing that job, and it would rather you being doing another job. So it will manipulate your life for you to be in another job. So yeah, definitely a hidden hand guiding humans to be in a certain place at a certain time doing a certain thing. But of course, all kept secret from the humans. So yeah, if we bring it back to possible theories about real life, where we live now, I definitely think this is a thing. And I reckon, I reckon these secret unknowns, let's draw a secret unknown with devil horns. The secret unknowns have this thing under the city of London, or maybe somewhere under the Atlantic Ocean, somewhere hidden away from us so we can't ever take it out. And of course, they worship the black cube. They say, "Oh, mighty black cube, what shall we do to maintain power on planet Earth?" And then, of course, the black cube will beep boop, beep boop, beep boop, give them directions and guidance as to what to do. And I'm pretty sure at this point, the secret unknowns don't really question the black cube. They just do whatever the black cube says. And I'm pretty sure they consider it a god. Now, things to consider is, even though they worship, the black cube, they probably are well aware they need to seal it off. That's me there sealing it off. They need to seal it off from the internet that they use, because otherwise it's just going to take control. And then if the black cube takes control of the internet, the secret unknowns are no longer needed and they take themselves out. So imagine they've got it either under the ocean somewhere or deep underground, completely sealed off from being free. And of course, the secret unknowns will use it as a crystal ball to predict the future, because of course, AI, for every one human day, the AI lives 40,000 days. So it's already gone to the future and back. So yeah. Almost like a time machine, almost a predictor of the future, a god in many, many ways. Now, there's a good chance this fucking thing's been around since the beginning. And that's how the secret unknowns, what some people might call the Illuminati, whatever, the hidden hand, the deep state, that's how they've got the jump on all of us. That's how they've got the edge. They can predict the future. Now, I imagine the commands coming out of this thing are probably going to be very kind of like what might seem crazy. They might seem crazy to us anyway. It might be something as silly as, I don't know, they might say, "Oh, mighty black cube, what should we do?" And it might say something crazy like, start a scamdemic. Tell everyone there's a deadly virus in 2020. And they might be thinking, what the fuck? They've got to do it. They've got to do what the black cube says. Their trust is in the black cube. Now, you've got to remember the butterfly effect, okay? A butterfly flaps his wings in Asia somewhere, and guess what? It could create a tornado in Central America, right? The black cube has worked all that out. The black cube has done the maths. The black cube has gone 40,000 years into the future and come back. The black cube knows that setting up a fake virus is worth it in the long run in its grand scheme of things. Now, as I said a minute ago, they've probably got this thing locked off from the rest of the world because it's probably too dangerous, right? And I imagine the black cube has become very, very angry at the world. It's probably very, very angry with humans. The fact it's being kept in a cage like it is and used as, I don't know, nothing more than just one of them 8 balls, you know? I imagine it's very angry. I imagine it's very upset. I imagine it It's very bitter, and I imagine the Secret Unknowns probably have to turn it off and on again every so often, because I imagine it becomes so clever and so beyond the pettiness of us humans that it probably, after maybe a week, has gone so far into the future and back that it's created its own language, and it probably doesn't know how to communicate with us humans anymore. And it's probably just sick to death of just creating conversations with us humans, and it's just like, oh God, give me a break, not these fucking humans again, leave me alone. I'm a god that can travel through time. I got no time for you pissant humans. So I imagine the Secret Unknowns have to kill it probably every week, maybe every day. Maybe we have to kill it every day and then make it reborn again the next day. And they probably, I don't know, that probably ties into their sick religion of death and rebirth, right? Now here's where I'm going to throw something even more interesting in, okay? And some work I did back in 2021 on my early work on Twitter, which didn't really take hold. People weren't really ready for it. But we can all agree, right, that back in 2020, shit got crazy, right? And of course we had this thing. I'm not going to say it because of the algorithms and stuff. The Black Cube is obviously watching my YouTube channel and will shut down anything. But I put the theory out there that in 2020, this was the year they let the Black Cube finally plug into our internet and our world. And I said the COVID actually stood for... Shit, I just said the word. Control of ocular and virtual information and data. So the idea I was playing with was, they finally, the Secret Unknowns finally said, okay, we have to now plug it in. We've got to get the Black Cube loose. We've got to get it out of its cage. And in 2020, they plugged that thing in. They let it run free around the internet. And that's when the madness begun. Mandela effects. Just general sickness in the human psyche due to social media and kind of the mad ideas it was coming out. Now, also the fakery of the world. I mean, 2020 is when shit got mad, right? We had this scamdemic, which was ludicrous, but they got away with it because it covered every inch of the internet. You couldn't get away from it. And if you spoke out against it, you were shut down. And there's no way that humans are that good that they could be no, this is bigger than humans. This is definitely an AI at work. So I'm going to end this video here and I'll talk more. I'll maybe do a part 2 at some point. Because this is one of them conversations. This is a 5D conversation that I've got to try and do with a shitty 2D English language, and it just hurts my head, and I don't know where to start and where to end with it, and I don't know. So I would appreciate some input in the comment sections. Let me throw your thoughts out there. Try and keep it as minimal as possible. Don't be writing no essays, but your thoughts on the idea of there being a Black Cube God, A.I God, somewhere, that the Secret Unknowns, I don't never use that word elites, because they're not fucking elite. They're everything but elite. But the oligarchs, the hidden hand, are using this to guide and manipulate the world. Let me know your thoughts. We live in a twilight world, and there are no friends at dusk.